Hello, everyone. We're just going to give it another minute. I see quite a few people are still joining. So we'll give it a minute and then we'll get started. Okay, hello everyone. Good morning, afternoon, evening to some, wherever you might be in the world. Welcome to Identiv's webinar on revolutionizing the world of sports with the Phygital fan experience. Today, David Geiser, the co-founder and CEO of collectID, joins us along with our very own Klaus Seaman-Mayer, Vice President of Strategic Accounts in EMEA, to discuss the exciting topic of bridging the physical and the digital for fan experiences within the world of sports. We will begin with an overview of Identiv and collectID, then dive into making the connection, which includes connecting fans to their sports teams and sports teams to their fans. We will run through the innovative technology behind these experiences and provide some real-life use cases. Lastly, we will then finish up with Q&A. So speaking of Q&A, please feel free to ask your questions as they arise throughout the presentation by simply typing in your question into the questions panel, and then we'll address each question at the end. With that, I will pass it over to Klaus.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, echoing Ryan, thank you everyone for joining us today and for listening in. Thank you for spending your precious time with us. I am sure it's worth it because we'll be looking at a really interesting use case. So let me briefly introduce you to the IoT business unit of Identiv. I mean, you can see the headline here. We put the IoT in motion, and this is exactly what we're doing. We're providing the technology that is required to connect physical everyday items to the most important digital part of our everyday life. And this is, of course, the internet. And we're acting as a full solution provider here, which means that we provide both the digital tags that make items a part of the IoT, as well as a cloud platform to manage and keep track of all those tags that are floating around in the field. When it comes to the tags themselves, we can look at almost 20 years of experience in manufacturing billions of units of both standard tags for mass applications, as well as customized tags, which come with tailored form factors. And when it comes to those tailored designs, we are certainly the industry leaders. Countless are the designs that we've been coming up with throughout all those years. And we have actually done it so often that it has become a routine process. And you can easily tell by the fact that it takes us typically only 6 or 8 weeks to come up with a customized tag and provide our customers with working prototypes. There's a whole variety of technologies that can be used for IoT applications. And actually, we are providing them all. Active and passive tags, which means tags that are either sourcing their energy from printed batteries, or batteryless tags that just source the surrounding electromagnetic field. Our tags are designed for all frequency bands and protocols that are commonly used in this type of applications: high frequency, ultra high frequency, BLE, and also dual frequency tags. We provide a variety of materials that a tag can be made of: copper and aluminum antennas, PET substrate, temperature-resistant substrate, and also eco-friendly substrate, face material based on paper. At Identiv, we are chip agnostic, which means that we source our chips from all RFID chip manufacturer, and we also design our antennas accordingly, which means that they can simply work with chips from any manufacturer. We're continuously investing in new production equipment, like, for instance, multi-component assembly machines, which allow for mounting more than one component in one production run, which is especially important for the BLE tags, where you have capacitors in addition to the chip itself. We're providing products for standard applications as well as for high-end solutions, like a one that we're talking about today. And here we are using high security chips with security features like encryption, digital and mechanical tamper-proof options, and many more. And actually, yeah, security features are a key requirement for the use case that we're talking of today. I think it's about 4 years ago that a company named collectID was knocking on our door. They had implemented a super secure blockchain platform and were looking for a super secure chip and super secure NFC tech. And yeah, that was the spark for a super interesting collaboration where a variety of different NFC techs have been deployed. And yeah, that was Identiv in a nutshell. So David, I'd like to hand over to you now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Klaus, and also Ryan, for this nice introduction. And as you said already, Klaus, like back in 2019, when we started the company, we were looking for a way to connect physical products with the digital dimension and to create this immersive experience for fans when they tap their physical products with their smartphone. And for us, from the very beginning, it was crucial that this security, this connection comes on a certain security level so that people can be 100% sure that there is no fraud or malicious activities involved. And on the other side, brands or the organizations delivering those products can be sure that they can protect the authenticity of those items. So that was why we contacted Identiv and we started using those NTAG 424 tags that have a secure and dynamic encryption and that exactly serve the needs of us and our clients. And before I tell you more about the company, I would actually love to quickly share my screen and to give you an idea to experience the solution. So yes, I share my whole screen. I hope you can see it. Maybe Klaus, you can then quickly say if you can see my smartphone screen.
Yes, David, we can.
Perfect. So here you can see one of the products that we did together with one of our partners. It's the Nashville Predators from the NHL. And the NFC tag is actually placed below this logo here. And I can then simply tap the smartphone on this part of the shirt. As you can see on the screen, the digital version of the shirt opens up. First of all, I get additional information about the product. So this in the case here was a special edition limited to 500 units. And what's even more cool is if I go to this section here, I have the possibility to watch content directly connected to that product. So for example, there is like a mic'd up video of Pekarine, who is actually the player that this jersey was dedicated to. And this here is content that was never shown before or on any other channel. There is like a possibility to connect the product to a personal message of the player. And then, of course, the Predators are using this technology to upsell other products like tickets or additional merch. As you can see here, there is the proof of authenticity, and I can also see the current owner, but it is also possible to add additional events to the history of the product. So for example, if I go to a game with this jersey, I can add the information that I have visited the game here. And again, like here in the info section, there is a possibility to add additional content about the product or about other information that is relevant. So I will stop my screen sharing and we can please go back to the presentation. So as you could see, it's all about connecting this physical world, physical products with the digital dimension. So in a nutshell, for the consumers, for the fans, we want to provide this very simple, immersive experience. everybody has a smartphone, and to simply hold the smartphone on the item is all it takes to jump into this experience and then to unlock additional digital experiences on the physical product. And the starting point can be content, engagement, or additional experiences that you unlock. But ultimately, our vision and our mission is that these products, physical products, can be used in a virtual environment, for example, in a video game or in a metaverse. So the boundaries and this concept of physical and digital breaks up, and we therefore call this a phygital experience. If we can go on to the next slide, you can actually see what's the ultimate goal here. So the fans are closer to the team. So for example, in this case, I buy the jersey of the number 35 of Pekka Rinne, and then there is specific content from that player. So me as a fan, I'm getting closer to the club, closer to my idols. And at the same time, and this is very crucial for our B2B partners and brands, this is a huge data play, because you can imagine it doesn't matter where I buy the jersey, where I buy a t-shirt. As soon as I tap with my phone and I start this interaction with the brand, there is a direct connection and very valuable first-party data that it's generated from the brand, for the brand. On the next slide, we can see a few possible experiences that people can activate. So of course, there is a possibility to build up a complete collection of merchandise. So in the same way that you have your products in your physical closet, you can also have that on your smartphone. Of course, this is engaging for the fans. As you saw already, there is a possibility to promote special content, giveaway, or highlights. Here again, we need to underline the importance of this secure connection, because, for example, if we give a voucher, a 50% voucher for new merchandise, if you own another merchandise, we need to be sure that this voucher can, for example, not be shared and can only be accessed from people who actually own this physical product. It's a possibility to gain access to exclusive areas, both physical and digital. We will show it later, how actually the t-shirt or the scarf can become a ticket to a game or to a venue. And of course, this whole system builds a basis for a very holistic loyalty program where the product itself is the entry ticket into that world. Please go to the next slide. So what we see, and as a result of this connection between the clubs and the fans, there is very valuable insights that the teams get out of this. So first of all, they better understand which fans own which products. But then as soon as they work with us for a certain time, let's say 2 seasons or more, there is a lot of patterns that they identify. Like, for example, people who buy product X tend to be interested in product Z, or people that have bought this product and bring it to games are more likely to do this and this and this. Furthermore, it's a very powerful communication tool, and it's a tool that is owned by the clubs. So of course they have millions of followers on social media, but they not necessarily always are able to access this community. So as an example, if you have 300 or 400 million fans on social media, like a club like Real Madrid or Barcelona, it's still only possible organically to reach around 1–2% of this audience. And for me, this is shocking, because that means 89 to 90% of your fans, you can directly connect with them. And of course, there is a huge potential for monetization if you can connect directly with these people. And last but not least, every person interacting digitally with this physical product is also increasing brand awareness. You deal with the brand, you see the sponsors. So both for the teams, for the sports organization, but also one level higher than for the sponsors, it's a very nice way to get more visibility and also then at some point real leads and traction. Very in a nutshell, to describe the whole ecosystem. So to understand what's behind the scenes, you saw already how it looks for a user, but of course there is more to it. So basically our system consists 4 integral pieces. So first of all, we have our backend system where all the information about the products is stored, where also the connection between the consumer and the data and the product is stored. Additionally, we store the most important information on the blockchain. So for example, we store on the blockchain that this jersey is this model, this SKU from this brand. And we also store the connection to the user's wallet. So this is an information that is independent, secured from, let's say, even our existence. Even if we would go out of business, which we don't think it will be the case, but we never know, this data would be stored on a secure, decentralized place. And then on the other side, we have the front end, which is accessible to a website, to mobile apps on Android or iOS. And these 2 parts, the backend and the front end, are connected with a API that we can also open to third parties. So if some of our customers want to integrate this solution into their own app, for example, they can then rely on the collectID API and use the system without necessarily using our front end, our mobile applications. So yeah, basically, this goes back to Klaus, and I'm happy to hand over to tell you a little bit more about the specific hardware, and then I will come back and explain why this hardware and this security standard is so important for us.
Thank you, David. Yeah, as David said, we'll be having a closer look at the NFC tag now, which is the tag inside the Nashville Predators jersey that David has been showing you. Maybe just some basics here quickly. NFC is a wireless technology which connects digital tags to the internet. Usually this is done by means of an NFC-enabled mobile phone. Or in other words, if you use your phone to tap an NFC tag, which is attached to this jersey, for instance, then this jersey becomes connected to the Internet of Things. This is what happened. And the tags that we use in this particular application have been specially designed for the integration into garments. Yeah? The tag has a special layer structure which makes it sturdy and robust enough to withstand, for instance, the washing cycles. Yeah? But on the other hand, it is still be flexible enough to be smoothly integrated into garments. Design-wise, we went for a round design with a diameter of 25 millimeter. It's like a €2 coin or something. And this is small enough to be integrated into almost any kind of garment. But on the other hand, it is big enough to provide a decent read range. It provides good connectivity regardless of the brand of the phone that people are using. Different phone brands have different antenna shapes inside, and there is no standardization, and the round form factor ensures good connectivity with all brands. And this is simply a super important thing because it's essential for a good user experience. If users tap such a tag with their phone, they simply need a reliable and immediate feedback without having to move the phone around in search of the antenna sweet spot. And actually, this product is a good example. It has been developed a few years ago as a special product, but in the meantime, it has become a standard product that is being sold in really high volumes. Ryan, can we advance to the next slide, please? Okay, now we will be having a look at the security features, and the security is really a key thing for use cases like this. And why is it so important? I mean, if you want to protect your brand or to avoid anti-counterfeiting by using NFC tags, you simply need the highest level of security. You don't want criminals to fake tags, attach them to fake garments, and let those fake tags pretend those garments to be genuine. This is the least thing you want to happen. And this is why in this application, we're using an NFC chip with the most sophisticated set of security features available in the market. As David mentioned, it's the NTAC 424 from 424 DNA from NXP. It comes with a strong cryptography, with 128 bits according to the advanced encryption standard. That's a state-of-the-art encryption algorithm. It has the so-called SUN message authentication. This means secure unique NFC message. And it means that the content of the NDEF message, which is usually a server URL, is not static, but the chip adds a code to this NDEF message, a CMAC code. And this CMAC code is generated freshly each time the tab is tagged. So it's never this, the NDEF message is never the same, and this makes it almost impossible to clone it. And a similar algorithm applies to the UID. Every NFC chip has a unique ID, which is a good thing, but standard NFC chips have static UIDs. And as with the NDEF message, as long as it's static, it can easily be cloned. The NTAC 424 uses a dynamic UID, which is again freshly generated each time you tap, and in addition, it is verified by the server. So it is simply impossible to have this ID cloned. And a further layer of security are the 128-bit keys that are used. There are up to 5 keys in place. And these keys are only known to the tag manufacturer and to the customer, in this case, collectID. And as long as these keys are not being disclosed to the outside world, it is not possible for hackers to clone or tamper tags. Yeah, really a secure thing on the NFC tag side of things. And I think now it's time to have a look at the NFC tags counterpart, which is the app and the server. So David, this stage is yours again.
Thank you very much, Klaus. And I think this is really crucial to also understand this need of security. If we look at the use case with St. Gallen and the scarf on the left side of the slide, as you can see, actually, the fans used the scarf to enter the stadium. What we did here is, again, we integrated these NFC tags into the product together with, in this case, the manufacturing partner. And then we used the unique encryption and the unique identity on each single tag to create a connection to the ticketing system. So collectID, we developed an API from us to the ticketing system, and this allows us to connect any ticket, a season ticket or a one-time ticket for a single game, with the scarf. And when the people scan the scarf at the entry gate, because of this API and this real-time connection, the system knows that this ticket ID is already used. So they can, for example, not use the printed home ticket or like a ticket on their smartphone and the scarf. And at the same time, when they lose the scarf, there is no problem, because through the collectID application, with a few clicks, they can disconnect the scarf with the ticket, and then it's just a scarf, and they can buy a new scarf or a new t-shirt and then connect the ticket again with the physical product. In this case, we saw fantastic results and really, really good feedback from both the club and the fans. Of course, it takes a little bit of time until the fan adapts such a new solution. But now, after the first few games of the season, more and more fans are using it. And as you can see here in the video, it's really convenient because you don't need to think about where your ticket is. Is it in a wallet or is it somewhere else? And the side effect for the club is that all the fans join the game in the colors of the club. And of course, this results in very nice images of the stadium for the television, because, for example, everything is green-white now in the stadium, and everybody brings his scarf to the game, which is providing really nice image and a really nice view for the viewers in the TV. On the right side, we see another use case that we did in the ice hockey world. I showed you the jersey earlier and also the experience for the fans. For the really careful visitors here, you see that our app changed. So what you see here on the slide was still the old version, but what I've just showed you in the call is a brand new version of the app, which is more immersive and even easier to use. And so the goal of this collaboration with Nashville was, first of all, to provide an additional exciting experience for the fans, which also resulted in a higher price of the physical items. So they significantly increased the price because the fans, beyond the physical product, also get a digital product here. And the long-term goal is to use the technology for their jersey patch sponsor. And actually, collectID was a crucial part to help the club sell this jersey patch sponsorship, because the new sponsor, which will be a local bank, they will use the technology to drive fans that interact with the club also to the products of this bank, and ultimately use the technology to win new customers. So you see, there is a variety of possibilities from accessing a physical venue that we can do with the technology. And that brings us actually to the last slide, to the summary for today, or actually one of the last slides. And here again, you get an idea on what's possible. So to go from left to right, we can obviously activate during games. So left, you see an example where fans can scan the jersey during a game. They can do that in the stadium or also at home. And then they get access to certain benefits provided by sponsors or by the club. So for example, one example here was a food sponsor. So if you scan the jersey at home, you can get a discount on food delivery. So you can deliver some food to your place and watch the game. And when you do the same scan in the stadium, you can get a voucher for some food inside the stadium. So we can also react to the location where the people scan a shirt. And that's also something you see on the second screen. This is a map with the worldwide fans of this club. So there is hundreds of thousands of fans of this Brazilian team that register themselves. And this is really nice because you can search for other fans in your neighborhood, or you can check out fans that are also watching the game right now. And it all comes with the physical product as a starting point, but it doesn't end. So there is a lot of digital components. I mentioned earlier the possibility to include loyalty programs. So on the middle screen, you see this gamification elements where you can get points depending on the activity level. And then to the right, we go more into the real world. We showed you already the ticketing use case with FC St. Gallen. We did also with other teams in Germany. It's a very promising project that a lot of teams are interested. And we are also planning to extend that. For example, skiing jackets with the integrated skiing ticket. And last but not least, this is really a futuristic project to bring also these physical items to the virtual space to allow you to dress your avatars or to use your physical products in a video game. And that's especially interesting for the youngest generation, for Gen Alpha or Gen Z, because for them, it also matters what their avatars or digital identity wears. And we believe in this hybrid form so that you have a physical product and you have a digital twin or a digital brother and sister that you can then use in a virtual environment. That's basically it from my side. Would hand over again to you, Klaus and Ryan, for the closing remark.
Yes. Okay. So while we go through this slide quickly, just want to remind everyone that if you have a question, please enter into the Q&A panel. Looks like we've got a couple queued up already. So thank you to everyone who has put in their questions so far. And if you have a question, please put it in now. So just to go over some of the next steps, we have Klaus and David's contact information here on this slide. We'll also be sending out a follow-up email with a link to the recording in case you want to share it with anybody that wasn't able to attend. And that'll also include the contact information. So really next steps would just be to get in touch with us. We can discuss any project needs that you have, send product samples, talk about any customization and inlay designs or branding for solutions that you need, encoding support, system support, and we can also connect you with our network of partners in case you have any need for that. So with that, I will start with the first question here. Okay, you mentioned touching the phone jumps directly to the content. Does the user need to download a collectID app, or is the content shared with the user via a website?
This is a very good question. And the answer is it depends. Like, both is possible. So usually when you tap the product for the very first time and you have not installed our app or the Teams app, a third-party app, then you get represented with a browser preview. So you can, for example, also do this in the shop to check out the product, to check out some specifications. And this might also help you to take the buying decision. But then usually once you want to experience the full solution, the full potential, we ask users to download our app, or in certain cases, the app of our partners. And there is multiple reasons to do that. First of all, there is not the same experience possible web-based and mobile-based, because every time you scan an item, there is a new browser window opening, while in an app, you can smoothly embed this. And the second reasons we ask the people to download and register is because this is the moment where there is a direct connection between the brand and the user, meaning there is a possibility for an ongoing communication. And that's very valuable for the brands to get to know the fans or the consumers better. So the answer is yes, it's possible to display part of the content in a web app. This is also what we do. But then for certain activations, also, for example, for the connection with the blockchain and the wallet, there is still a mobile app, a native app needed.
Okay, great. Next question. Can you easily customize content and experiences for each fan, i.e. thousands of different iterations?
Yes. So of course, this is always a question of effort versus return. But theoretically, and this is another reason why using those securely encrypted and serialized NFC tags, theoretically, we can go after each product individually. So we could display different content, or what we actually do a lot of the time, we can promote a different voucher code on every single item. So for example, if I have the product and Klaus, and I use my voucher code, this one will not be valid anymore. And that's only possible if it's a unique code for me. And that's possible, but in terms of the content, it's obviously a trade-off to show the same content to all product owners versus to create individual content for every single owner. And there it really depends on what's the goals. Another example where we really have a one-of-one is, for example, a game-used item. So if it's a jersey that is used by a specific player, per definition, it's a unique one-of-one item. And in this case, there is also very unique content for this single product.
Okay.
And maybe just to add here one sentence, sorry, is the management of the content is very easy. So if it goes through our own platform, we have a CMS tool where the partner of us can upload or download content in real time. So let's say you want to have a message going out after a goal during a game, this is possible. Or also if you want to activate with different campaigns for every weekend or every game, this is also possible. And of course, if the solution is integrated into our partner ecosystem, then the partner is using his or her existing CMS system. So there is basically the same communication system used for the app, and we just apply additional filters so that you can filter and say, okay, this fan, for example, owns this product, so we want to show him this message, and another fan that owns 10 products might see different content.
Okay, great. Next question. Are there any issues with the technology with high or low temperature stadium environments? What is the life cycle of such merch, washing cycles, or does NFC wear off?
Am I supposed to take this one, David?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, especially on the temperature. I mean, we can also then share a few insights on our own testing, but I think it's good if you can start.
Okay, then let me first touch on the question regarding the temperature. So the temperature range that the tags are designed for is from -20 to +70 degrees Celsius. That's their operating range, which is covering all the use cases we ever came across. And in terms of the number of washing cycles, as so often, the answer is it depends. We, as a tag manufacturer, we don't specify a maximum number of washing cycles because it simply depends on how you integrate the tag into your garment. If you do it behind kind of a badge like the Nashville Predators did it, or if you put it in a pouch, this affects the reliability a bit, but what I can tell you is that we have millions of those tags in the field with different ways of attachment, and we had never any complaints. So I can't tell you a number, but I can tell you that so far they withstand every normal use case and every normal number of washing cycles.
Yes, and I can also add here, we also tested ourselves when we started with our own merchandise. We literally just put it in the washing machine. We also took some tags and put them in like water. And based on our own experience, we could do more than 100 washing cycles without having a problem. And also based on the testing results that Identiv provided us, where they did a 20-year aging simulation, the quality, or let's say the functionality of the tags, is still on like 97%. So for you as a consumer scanning it with a smartphone, you would not even notice a difference. So there is always things how you can destroy it. For example, if you cut through the tag or if you stitch through it, which might sound stupid, but we had these cases in the past. But if you handle them according to the standards, I would usually say the tag survives longer than the product itself.
Okay, great. Next question. You've mentioned eco-friendly tags. What exactly makes those tags eco-friendly?
Okay, I guess that one goes to me. Our eco-friendly, or let's put it the other way around. The standard material for NFC tags is PET. The majority of the different layers within an NFC tag, a label or the one that we're talking of here, is PET. And PET is better than PVC, for instance, but it's still plastic and it's a threat to our environment, which is why we came up with a tag where the PET has been replaced by paper. And it's not only the antenna substrate, which is made of paper, also the surface material can be made of paper. And in addition, we've been replacing the antenna line etching process by a laser process. There's no more toxic waste. The only remainder is pure aluminum, which can be recycled right away. And this is a very clean and sustainable technology.
Awesome. Okay, another question. Why do you use dynamically encrypted NFC tags and not QR codes?
That's a very good one, actually. And we heard that a lot because obviously QR codes are cheaper. So it's a cheaper way. And it's another way to connect the physical product with the digital dimension. And the reason why we use encrypted and secure NFC tags for most of the projects are like several reasons, actually. First, because of the secure connection, this is the only way you can securely protect the authenticity. Because if you can fake the product, it's also quite easy to fake the QR code, because it's a static printed piece on the item and it's easy to copy it. The second, and for example, this would not allow us to do, let's say, a connection with the ticketing, because someone could just take a picture of your QR code and then use this QR code to enter the venue without actually having the physical product. The same goes with the digital benefits. So let's say there is a chance to access a meet and greet or to access a party by buying the physical product. There is a risk that if you do it with a QR code or with an unsecure encryption or no encryption at all, that people could access this experience without actually buying the physical product. So the QR code is not secure enough to really protect the content and the experience behind the physical product. And then there is another reason. Theoretically, QR codes can also be used and are practically used or misused to distribute malware or viruses, because they could lead to another page that was not intentionally designed, and that would have a very bad influence, obviously, on the consumer, and then ultimately it would be a bad for the reputation of the brand. And with a secure encrypted connection, it's not possible to intervene or to jump into this connection and to break it. And that's why we really rely on this secure NTAG 424 in this case.
Okay, great. Looks like we have another question here. Some garment embellishment processes require heat of approximately 110 degrees Celsius. I think that's how to read that. You mentioned a top range of 70 degrees Celsius. Is this something that could be extended? Would you be open to testing this? Something I would happily follow up on if desired.
I can also answer here quickly because we are actually applying those tags with heat transfer, or our partners are applying them. And as much as Klaus is right that the temperature works until, what was it, like 80 or something degrees, that's not a problem, because when you heat transfer, and for example, this here was heat transferred, then you have this additional layer between the tag, and usually the process, the temperature of heat transferring is between, I think, 160 and 180 degrees, and that's no problem for the tag. So because you have this additional layer of fabric or a PET or plastic label between, the heat does not destroy the tag. It's absolutely no problem. And this is a process we use quite often to apply the tags. If they are not directly in the production integrated, then heat transferring them on the product is a very simple and easy way to do a post-production equipment.
Thank you, David. And just one more thing from my end to this question. The temperature range that I've been mentioning before is the operating range in which the tag is functional. Actually, I would call it the surviving range is much wider. As explained by David, if you heat the tag up to 110 degrees, it will still survive, but at a temperature of 110 degrees, it will not be working. It has to cool down to 70 degrees again.
Okay, awesome. Well, that brings us right to time. If you do have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and we can answer any questions you might have. Thank you, everybody, for joining and for your participation. Have a great rest of your day, afternoon, or evening. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.